Playing with IBS has always been a struggle of mine, but I am not alone. Thousands of Battlefield players just like me suffer from irritable blueberry syndrome, but there is hope.
Hardcore League is a major advancement in the treatment of irritable blueberry syndrome and reduces the likelihood of encountering PTFO inhibitors. When compared to other PTFO therapies, Hardcore League has been proven to help players live significantly longer without IBS flare-ups or growth.
Hardcore League changed what I thought was possible for IBS treatment.
Ask your doctor about once daily Hardcore League and visit hardcoreleague.co for more information. Hardcore League may cause serious side effects including elation. The most common side effects are lack of sleep, extended gaming, trouble stopping, newfound love of the game, excessive fun, and advanced PTFO.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Shots Fired podcasting with myself and Real Dum Dum, coming at you live, ladies and gentlemen, with Sergeant Danger Cow this evening. Very excited to bring this gentleman on board. Just having a little chat with him before we got things kicked off, and really excited to hear what Mr. Danger Cow is going to be talking about this evening. We've got a lot going on, guys, tonight, so we'll be going through that shortly. But in the meantime, just like to welcome Mr. Danger Cow on board. Danger, how the devil are you this evening, my dude?
Good evening, good evening, good evening. I am very well, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me along, I really appreciate it.
Anytime, my dude. No, we are very thankful for yourself giving up the time this evening. And, of course, we do have Mr. Real Dum Dum on board with us this evening. Mr. Double D's, how the devil are you today?
My boys, I am doing wonderful, and it is an absolute honor and a pleasure to join you guys in this episode of the Shots Fired podcast. Mr. Danger Cow, I've checked out some of your stuff on the YouTubes there, and I've got to hand it to you, man. You're a beautiful, beautiful individual, and it is too cool to get the chance to sit down and chat with you, man. I'm really looking forward to it.
Let's get it done. It's good.
I think, is it fair to say that Mr. DC actually does bring the pew 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 and the oh my days moments? Having watched some of your YouTube clips, my dude, absolutely on point gameplay, and really excited to have this opportunity just to chat with yourself really about what it is that you get up to within the Battlefield community. I believe recently, though, if you're happy to talk about it, you've been abroad. Do you want to talk to us about that? You managed to meet up with one of our or a couple of our colleagues from the Hardcore League.
Yeah, no, part of the Game Changer program. Very fortunate to be invited over to Stockholm to play some of the stuff over there, which was, I've never been to Sweden. I don't know if anyone, either of you have or anyone else has, but it's been, really interesting to see the game firsthand. We got to play a little bit of the sort of multiplayer maps before it was released, and it was an interesting experience. And obviously, it's great to play the games. It's great to see the devs and talk to them, which is actually one of the greatest parts of this. Is you can talk to those guys without a little bit of NDA kind of tickling around in the unspoken background, but you got questions you can ask them, and they are, after all, human beings. They will ask, or rather answer, anything that you'll ask within reason. And it's really, I find, really useful to talk to them and get an insight, because I think a lot of the problems is people say, oh, why have DICE done this, or why have EA done this, and they can't tell you why. But when you talk to them on a one-to-one basis, they'll say, actually, you know what, this is what we did it for. Or you'll ask a question that they might not answer on Twitter because they don't want to kick up a firestorm, but you say, hey, listen, why is AA so powerful? Why is the range so big? And they'll explain it, and they break it down for you without having a fear of the sort of the re-crowd coming at them.
Right, you are. No, I mean, you make an absolutely fantastic point there. And if anything, it would be great to see more of these events done, because I believe as Battlefield has grown as a community, one thing that has definitely lacked, especially when looking at other games, and I appreciate there is a reason for this, but it's never had a massive sort of player base of people meeting together. We don't seem to have expos like other games out there, and I think one thing that would be good to see eventually is for us as a community is to be able to meet in the sort of the main countries where Battlefield is a thing, and to have this opportunity to all meet as a community, and like you say, to meet the devs would be amazing, and a great sort of opportunity to discuss how sort of like they're implementing different features within the game. But I know Crazy has some pretty burning questions for you coming up, so I'm going to fire over to Crazy for the minute here. Sorry, Crazy? Oh my days, that is embarrassing. Oh, I don't know where that came from.
I am Crazy, and you know, Crazy being such a beautiful fella, I take no offense to that. I actually called in a podcast the other day. We were talking about some tankers and whatnot, and I called Zentoid, who is my teammate. I was like, yeah, he's a great AOTG tanker or some nonsense. So, dude, I definitely understand. It happens. Let's see here. First question for you, Mr. Danger Cow, is not going to be the what is your favorite color I messed around with beforehand, though I am curious. Let's see.
Blue.
Good choice.
Yes, same. I figured.
Hardcore League colors.
Well, you know, I want to kick it off since we're talking about, we're kind of opening with community speak and whatnot, you know, getting to meet the developers and the things of that sort and the things that we like and don't like. What is your favorite part of being in the Battlefield community? What is it about Battlefield for you that just drew you in, that just pulled you into this game and, you know, stole your heart away?
Well, my roots are in COD, right? I mean, spit, and all that sort of stuff. But to give you my intro to it was when Modern Warfare came out, and this is quite a sensitive subject because it killed our community, and that was that COD moved away from having dedicated servers and went to party system servers, and that's a hugely hot topic right now, right? It killed the community I was in. I was in a community called Angry Employees. We were a bunch of relatively mature guys, sort of the 30s. And Modern Warfare came along. It knocked that sort of thing out, and so we kind of went our separate ways. And I came across Bad Company 2. I'd messed around with 1942. And 2143, but Bad Company 2 seemed to be the game that I thought, actually, you know what, this is really good. It's really in depth. There's big maps. There's vehicles. There's huge emphasis on tactical team play, which is what we liked. And I said to the guys, listen, you know, let's do this. And just weirdly, none of them really bought into it. And I came across the community that I'm with now as a community called British Sergeants Mess. And initially I was banned because I was a sniper, because my system wouldn't take the up close stuff. So as soon as I got nailed to an MCOM station, I couldn't do anything. So I stayed off as the sniper, and they didn't like that very much. And then I got a better system. They said, right, now you've got no excuse. Come and join us on the you know, put your big boy pants on and come and join us on the PTFO side of things. And I loved it. And I just the thing I love about the community in the game is it really allows you, when you've got a good squad and a good bunch of mates, there is nothing better than the thrill of turning a bad situation around, or really dominating a particular flag, or saying, right, we're going to change the game now that we've come in, we're 100 tickets behind, let's get on it, let's turn this game around and really make a good effort of it. And those moments, those victories, those hard fought battles, even if they're a loss, if they're a narrow loss, you go, God, we were so close, but we dominated that flag, or we really took apart that tank squad, or just those moments are what Battlefield is built for, and what this community can give you when you play with those guys and girls. And I think outside of the game, it's just such a wonderfully all-embracing, all-encompassing community. And I know there are those out there who have a naysaying attitude, and you know, there are always bad apples in every bunch. But for the large part, the people that I got to hang out with at EA Play, the people I got to hang out with in Stockholm, and then various other events, have just all been fantastic fun. And it's been great to go out and learn about them, and hear about their families and their woes, because we suffer together, we succeed together, and I think that is the wonderful part of the community outside of the game itself.
I gotta say, man, you are a man after my own heart. That's pretty much what my own answer to that question would be. I've got to admit, I live for those heart pounding, clutch moments when your squad really comes. And it even happens with the quote unquote blueberries from time to time. You'll end up in a squad with random people, but you'll start communicating and working together to really turn the tides of a bad situation, like you said. And it feels incredible. And it just, when it happens, you just get this sense of this is what it's all about. And I have not found another game that where that's possible, for one thing. And then the community outside the game, like you say, is it's on its own level. I've never seen anything like it anywhere else. And yeah, for me, I'm right there. I'm in the same boat with you, man. That's exactly how I feel about the game, and it is just, it's incredible. I've never seen anything like it, and I'm excited to watch it keep growing. I think that we will end up with some of those community events that you guys were discussing just a little while ago. I think the community is growing into that. Give it another year tops, and we'll start seeing some of these expos. That's just my personal opinion, but great answer, dude. I mean, that was spot on right there.
I think one thing, if I can just touch on, Battlefield is really good at developing people and developing their PTFO and their teamwork mentality. I think it demands a higher level of cohesion, a lot, especially relative to other games out there. Your Call of Duties, your Halos. That's what's made Battlefield a unique game, and that's what's enabled it to grow, because it provides a whole nother level of entertainment and features and things for you to have to think about. It's not just about simply running around who's got the quickest trigger finger. It's a far more intelligent game than that, and you've really got to be able to go away and think outside of the box. And what we'll be able to show with some of the footage that we've captured for Sergeant Danger Cow to go through later is that these guys, what enables them to win as players is that they think outside of the box. They will approach things in ways that no one will have thought about before, and that's how you have to think when you're a team leader, when you're a squad leader. You've got to be able to develop yourself, be dynamic, and approach things differently depending on the situation and the time. Battlefield really enables people to do that, and a lot of this transfers over into the community itself and how the community interacts. And you've got occasions like this tonight where we've got Sergeant Danger Cow coming on board doing an interview of ourselves. Everyone is about cohesion, cooperation, and communication, and I think a lot of that really does come from Battlefield, the game.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. And I think the thing about the advantage the Battlefield has over games like Rainbow Six and to a degree Fortnite and that lot is that there's a real ebb and flow. Fortnite is a story in one short moment, which makes it so broadcastable. So you've got the beginning, will he survive? Does he survive it? Or he survived that, will he survive the next bit? And he eventually either dies or he wins, right? Whereas Battlefield allows an ebb and flow and a real kind of, right, we've done this bit, but we need to get the other bit now, and will enough people realize that we have to get that bit for it to happen? And I think that's the great thing about Battlefield, is it allows, because of the length of the match and the scope of the maps, that it gives you that advantage to kind of really push for an alternative solution to what's happening at the time. And that's not allowed in games like Rainbow Six, where once you're shot, you're dead, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, so just looking back at sort of previous Battlefields, for you, what would have to be with your most memorable moment?
In me personally, or what?
Yeah, just for you as an individual, sort of. Have you ever been a part of a game where anything crazy's gone down and that's just stuck with you for life?
I don't know crazy per se. I once played a game with a content creator called Luton. You've probably seen around, and we were playing on Lockers on
Good
BF4.
map. Good map.
And it is a good map if you know what you're doing. If you don't just sit in the sort of central bit and blast away, if you actually take the time to scout around the outside, it's a great map. And it was him, me, and I think a couple of other guys who were in his Discord. And we were on this one side, and they were outnumbering the other team by 4 players, and they were 200 tickets ahead. 200 tickets ahead. And Luton said, why don't we go across to the other team and see if we can't bring it back and win the game? And we did. Simply because we were coordinated, we were on comms, which is obviously always a huge advantage, but we had a medic, we had a sniper, we had a couple of ammo guys. In fact, we had 2 medics, 1 ammo, and a sniper. And it just, the sniper was calling out places, he was spotting, doing what a sniper is supposed to do, and the medics were doing a medic train. The support guy was standing back I was a medic, and we had a support guy. He was just standing back with the ammo crates, hitting the LMG, suppressing while we moved forward, and we pulled the game back, and we won. And that is one of the greatest. Not greatest moments per se, like, oh wow, because Damavan Peak for me, the first time I ever jumped off Damavan Peak, will be one of the best moments of a Battlefield series. But I guess you know what I'm talking about with Damavan Peak.
Oh yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. Iconic. I think it really
brilliant, was. Cinematic, you name it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was my first kind of like, wow, I really love that. But that match where we came back from 200 tickets down, and just as a matter of PTFO and team play, pulled it back, showed what Battlefield actually is about. And
Absolutely.
It's not just about the bombs and the nades, it's about thinking. The brain is the most dangerous weapon.
Absolutely, and it really is that added layer to the game that I think has enabled it to give it just this awesome longevity that we're seeing. The game's almost coming up to 20 years now, and I do believe the next release will put us at that 20-year mark. So it's you don't have a game with this amount of longevity unless they're doing something right, unless they have a lot of people behind them enjoying what they do and what they take away. The money involved, I was just looking at the credits the other day, and the amount of people involved in creating Battlefield, it just is incredible. There is a heck of a lot of people, so all those people have obviously got a wage, an office space, and that's before you actually get into the nitty gritty of how they create the game. We got Texas from PAL coming in there representing Phoenix Elite Aerial League. We've also got Impulse Stream jumping in there. Impulse Stream do a lot of our graphics here at the Hardcore League, and especially for Shots Fired Podcasting. We also got Mr. Attila the Jew dropping in with the 2-month subscription in a row. My dude, thank you very much. That is much appreciated. So yeah, we've got some great people in chat this evening. No doubt we will have some questions from you guys for Sergeant Danger Cow to answer. For those of you who are just joining in, this is Mr. Sergeant Danger Cow, who is a renowned Battlefield pilot. He's been on PC, Dice Friend and EA Game Changer, but he's also head admin for British Sergeant's Mess. Believe it or not, guys, Danger Cow isn't actually a cow. So there's something to think on.
It's a shocker. It's a shocker.
Because that would be pretty cool. If we could do an interview with a cow that had the ability to play Battlefield, I feel that would be a very unique interview. I don't know what kind of questions I would need to be going for.
Oh, I'd be all over that.
Are you a Bichon free or are you a heifer? I don't know the difference, to be honest.
I'm a lactose intolerant cow. It's not a life to lead.
Oh damn!
God,
That's
that would be horrible. That wouldn't just be the worst.
Well,
I'll tell
the
you
gods
what,
hated
nothing
you
good
that
about
day.
that. Oh yeah.
I'll tell
Wait a
you
minute.
what.
All about that soya milk.
Oh god, I've never tried it, to be honest. Thankfully, I've never had to have that experience. But I can imagine it's horrendous. No, I don't know. I mean, I miss my dairy products too much. I live on cheese and bacon, so I couldn't do this. So. Okay, say you've got a good, you're going well, you're having a good game, you're between matches, and you want to keep this good game going. Do you have any rituals? Do you have anything that you do for luck, or anything that you like? Do you have your cup put in a certain way on the desk, or Is there any kind of do you like the lighting at a certain level to enable you to really hit that PTFO?
I play Battlefield like I have sex, lights off, shirts on. But
How British.
I kid. But no, do you know what? I tend to hope that the same people that I like playing with are on, because we form a pretty good unit. I tend to have two drinks. I'll have a coffee and a water. I'm not particularly of interest, but I do a thing where I have a month on and a month off the booze. I'm meant to be on a month off, but I've got a nice, as I spent to you earlier, I got a nice little present this afternoon with a bottle of whiskey. So I'm just sampling the goods to make sure it's okay, But yeah, I don't know. I mean, not rituals per se, but I do like having. I like being quite well hydrated. So I play a lot of squash and racquetball and stuff like that. So I like to be hydrated. So I like to have lots of water around me. And my daughter made me a mouse mat at school some couple of years ago. So I used that as a coaster, but I've turned it upside down so the picture she drew on it doesn't get spoiled. But it works as a very good coaster because I've got an enormous, like, meter long mouse mat, sort of meter long and
yeah, I believe you've got a massive desk. I don't know where I've got that information from, but I do believe you have a massive desk.
Yeah, I was very lucky to inherit a lot of stuff, historical stuff from my grandfather. It's my father predeceased my grandfather, and so my grandfather basically left a lot of stuff to me. And the desk I've got is an old partner's desk from a bank.
Oh, brilliant!
That he used to have involvement with, and or I should say, our family did. And it is 2 meters from end to end, and about 1.75 meters deep. So there's a lot of space on it. Let's put it that way.
No, that's quite interesting, really. And I think with old stuff as well, it's always nice to have old stuff around. I'm a real fan of just anything that's pre-19 sort of 50s, really. And there was some, especially at the turn of the century. I know. Sorry, I do realise this isn't a podcast about turn of the century furniture.
We could go there, man. We could totally go there. My wife and I are restoring
Hardcore
a 1940s flower center thing right now.
Oh wow!
Like a coffee hut. So yeah, it's really cool. I find it interesting that you guys are into that. How sweet this is.
This desk is. Hey, Texas Pal, thanks very much, man. I appreciate you coming out. So I don't want to talk across the producer here, but he's obviously directing that at me. But I just wanted to say that I've noticed the comment, and bad for your internet, man. But this desk is from the early 1800s.
Oh wow!
Wow.
That's impressive. That is really impressive. A little bit of history right there when you think the amount of information that's gone over that desk, people's lives that have been changed with a flick of a pen, and now you're just gaming on it. But no, that's awesome.
By the flick of my mouse.
That's it. You're destroying pilots' lives. So, I mean, that's it. I mean, that's just wonderful. And to have that little bit of history there in your house, just to be able to sort of cool on, is just amazing. Me as a history buff, that's the sort of thing I'd love, especially as it's come from your family. That's also something that you're going to be able to pass down through the generations, hopefully onto your kids. So, no, absolutely, my dude, that is brilliant. But yeah, we've got a few questions to put to you from the community. Now, a couple of these guys, we've gone out. We've asked Texas, who is he is the community lead for Phoenix Elite Aerial League, and they are pretty much exclusively the only aerial league that I'm aware of in Battlefield currently active at the moment, and they have been killing it with some pretty awesome events recently. We've had the Flight Path to Battlefield 5 tournament, which finished last week, which finished 2 weeks ago. Brilliant fun. Myself and Deadeye were shoutcasting it, and we had some great results at the end of that campaign. We've also had season 1 and season 2 of the Phoenix Elite Aerial League, both kicked off brilliantly, and we've got some footage to go over shortly for you from those tournaments. But in the meantime, we've got Dead April representing Ace Pilots, and he's asking here, what do you feel needs to be to change to make Battlefield 5 planes more reliable, and just in general?
Wow,
That's an interesting one.
that's a very open question. A lot is the simple answer. I'm not a fan of the upgrade tree system. For guns, vehicles. Yeah, sorry
No, you're okay.
specializations. I'm not a fan of that. I don't think, the thing with, let's just very briefly touch on guns, because they're basically invisible attachments, these specializations for guns. They're basically, you can choose high rate of fire, which is essentially a magazine upgrade, or you can change more stability, which is a muzzle brake, less climb, so that's a muzzle brake, or less drift, that's a hand stop, which we used to have in Battlefield 4.
That's true.
But the way they've done that is they've had an either-or situation, which is DICE's policy for building these things is rock, paper, scissors. That's the way to do it. You've got to have something that combats something that combats something. And they've done it with vehicles as well, and I just can't get my head around it, because I do not understand why planes particularly have to be upgraded for maneuverability. A plane should be maneuverable by default. You shouldn't have to upgrade to get maneuverability, and I'm not sure there's any pilot that will choose of a fighter pilot who will choose a plane not to be more maneuverable, which means that you are not forced, but you are pretty heavily leaning or weighted towards choosing one particular element of the tree or your specialization, which means you're going to sacrifice something else because you have to have that maneuverability. And I just think that's a bit bonkers. They've never done this before, and I don't think they should have done it. I can't get to grips with it. I like the BF1 system of having a particular, you had 3 variants on the fighter: the trench bomber, the bomber hunter or bomber killer, and the dogfighter. And with the attack plane, you had 2 variants. You had the ground support or the tank hunter. And then you had 2 different types of bombers. But they all did roughly one job, and they all had one loadout. There was no maneuverability upgrades. There was no engine upgrades. There was no different choices of guns, And the way they've balanced very heavily in the way of ME-109s rather than the Spitfires, the Mark 1 and the Mark 2, the Mark A and B, is just weird. Just make, because then it doesn't become fair. It's not fair. It's not about a pilot's skill. It's about what plane he's flying. And I don't think that's right, because dogfighter leagues, they tend to have trench fighter only loadouts. That's part of their mantra, because it's the least biased effect of plane, because the dogfighter has the incendiary bullets and the bomber killer has instant repair. So they have, those 2 variants have different advantages, whereas the trench fighter has pure guns. And that's why most leagues, or most pilots I know of who are pure dogfighters, will use only the trench fighter or trench bomber, and you can't do that in BFV. You're choosing one. If you've got an ME-109, then you've got a massive advantage over Spitfires, and it basically boils down to that, because of the way the game has been built. So what they need to do is balance the games out so they're even by default, and frankly, I would say get rid of the upgrade specializations. But that's what I think they need to do, but they won't.
Sure,
I agree with you 100%, actually, and it's not surprising to me that was your response. I've actually heard that quite a bit since launch, or since we've had the opportunity to get to know the planes. That's been the general consensus so far, is, man, you've really got to go one way or the other on the tree, and it just never feels truly balanced, in the air. It's not like it was in one where, like you say, you've got these specific specifications to go with, and then it's a more well-rounded and, quote unquote fair fight. It's more based on the pilot's individual talent and, field IQ, as opposed to how he stacks his plane. I personally have to agree with you, and I really wish that I hope that in the next release, with those planes, that they go back to the formula they used in one. I thought it was really, really good. But that's just my piece.
Yeah, I'm not sure I don't think it's an uncommon feeling, particularly amongst the pilots, I will say. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I think you've touched on some very valuable points. So I have to say, the specializations, from my point of view, I'm not a massive fan of myself. We'll see what they do with it long term. I know that nothing necessarily stays fixed for these first couple months anyway, and a lot of it does depend on the feedback of the community and what the community wants, because the devs are very keen to, capture what people want here from the game, and that's obviously going to be of quite a lot of importance, really. So from yourself, again, are you've already pretty much answered this, but we'll just touch on it again. Are you a joystick or a controller or a keyboard and mouse person?
Keyboard and mouse all the way.
Keyboard and mouse all the way. What's your reasoning behind that?
I just find it more accurate. I just, a lot of people find it easier to pull back on a stick. I think it depends largely on your configuration. If you, like me, I have W and S as my pitch up, pitch down, and A and D is my rudder, and then roll is on my mouse. But I find aiming with the mouse a lot easier. Always will do. I don't play FPS games on a controller. I only play sports games. I find the fine-tuning of aiming, particularly in a plane, a lot easier. And it's funny, actually, when I've been playing on Air Assault on BF1 with a couple of my good mates in the planes, like Kieran Poole, who's a much better pilot than me, but he said to me, I just KBM all the time. I said, yep, absolutely. And you get, when you play against people in Air Assault, they always say, oh, you must be hacking because you can't be that accurate. I said, no, I'm just using keyboard and mouse. And what's then interesting is whether or not people will go. Well, they go one of two ways. One is, no, screw you, you're hacking, or two is, really? Oh, what are you doing? How do I help? How do I do that? And whatever. So it's interesting that some people will ask for help, and I will always help those who ask for it, and those who don't can jog on, as far as I don't care. Some internet person, I really could not care what they think of me, but all I know is, A, I don't cheat, and B, if you want my help, I'll give it to you.
Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. It sounds like quite a good attitude to have, to be honest, because you do have people out there who are willing to just jump on the negativity train straight away and just assume that because someone has a very good kill-death ratio because they got a kill that they perceive they shouldn't have got. There's a lot of people out there who will just jump on the whole hacking train. Generally, I think hacking, especially console side, is very much a rare occurrence. And it just so happens to be that people genuinely do have a lot of skill in this game and have finessed the roles that they're playing to become extremely good at them. From an aerial point of view, though, I do find having the the speed, the angle, and the distance, those are the three factors that weigh in the most as to whether you're going to land those shots or whether those shots are going to go in front or behind the fighter. In terms of defensive maneuverability, though, what would you say is a good sort of way of getting someone off your 6 o'clock, off your tail during a dogfight?
Just a lot of rotation. I tend to go into a split S and then use the speed from that to go to start climbing again, and then do a sort of top end rotate right and then rotate left almost immediately and come and then go back under whoever it is I'm going to, depending on where they're coming from. You try to aim towards their noise, their engine noise, and then go back under them. And it's all just about creating separation between you and them, so you can get back onto their tail. I got to be honest, that depends. It will depend, obviously, if I'm in a conquest game I will head for buildings and AA and friendly stuff. He will no doubt shoot the other guy and try and put him off his aim a little bit. But in air assault, I think if you come up against a good pilot who can turn inside whatever you're doing, you're kind of screwed anyway, because I think there isn't enough. There's not, like in BF3, I think in BF4 as well, you had throttle control. I can't remember. Did you have throttle control in BF4?
Yes, we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, you could still stall out if you needed to and let people shoot past you.
So the stall out is useful occasionally, but so many people stall out far too early that you're just sat there and just shoot the hell out of you. And I love it when you see, and you know people are doing it because you see, you can get a sense that they're doing it, and B, you see the propeller go, and then you just sit there and go, thank you very much, that's an easy kill. The only thing that pissed me off was that they would inevitably, the hulk of their aircraft would then smash into yours because they've gone vertical, so you're vertical, and then their aircraft does 75 damage to your aircraft. But yeah, I tended to find that, to be honest, a lot of the time just braking right, and then just maybe going up a little bit and up a little bit every sort of 3/4 turn. You would try something. 3/4 are quite important, I found, on those turns. It tended to be that's when you just lost sight of where the guy was for half a second, and if you could elevate a touch, it would just give you the elevation to then try and get the speed and the angle that you needed to come back down again. So BF5 is a whole different kettle of fish. I can't get on board the planes in BFV. I love flying a bomb because it's for the memes, but fighter dogfighting is, if you've got an ME-109 on you and you're a Spitfire, forget about it, because you can throw ping pong balls at that ME-109. As far as I'm concerned, you'll do more damage than a Spitfire.
No, absolutely, and I think you've touched on a good point there. To a certain extent, Battlefield 1 and World War 1 planes, biplanes, they enabled, you did have that certain level of manoeuvrability, although you didn't have the speed factor. World War II comes along, and we're now changing this up. We're now sort of going more, less at sort of 100 miles per hour. Now it's more like 300, maybe even 400 miles per hour, depending on whether you're diving or not. And you just haven't quite got the same level of manoeuvrability. So I think it's going to be more about positioning yourself, especially on games like Conquest, where the air is very important. If you've got a fighter up, you've got a bomber up, the fighter can cover the bomber, and obviously the bomber can assist with the ground. And if you've got someone who knows their lanes, knows where tanks are going to be coming in, and just knows how to drop those bombs accurately, they are going to be an extremely dangerous duo. And I'm really looking forward to seeing moving forward into the competitive element of Battlefield 5 once we've had RSP release. I do believe the direction of where the dogfighting is going to go will be quite interesting, especially from my point of view as a shoutcaster. It's going to enable us to really have some very high-octane, dramatic moments where these planes are coming into close contact with each other. So yeah, I think that's definitely going to be quite an interesting feature to see. We've got Shadow coming in though with a question. As more competitive teams learn the game, where do you guys see the meta going at this version of the game? Can differ through game mode, of course. Not too sure what you're asking there, dude. So the meta, are you asking sort of just generally where people are sort of going to go with the tactics and strategy? Post RSP, is that where you're going with that, Shadow? I'm not too sure, sorry dude.
Yeah, it could be the weapons or something. I mean, don't forget, Shadow, that you've got the patch coming up, so I think let's see what this day 14 day whatever patch they're calling it nowadays patch happens, because that's going to change a lot, including there's discussion about the TTK. And I think the TTK is going to be an issue because it's at the moment I feel like, I don't know about you guys, I think we're at closed alpha 2-ish maybe TTK. It's certainly not
it's not far off it if it is. And just for those of you who are unaware, guys, we're talking about time to kill, so how many shots you have to put into someone before they go down. And right now, a lot of, especially veteran Battlefield players, do believe there is a consensus that the TTK is a little bit on the high side. There are certain weapons out there that do seem to struggle definitely the RE7 is not one of them. And I believe that is one of the weapons that is going to be getting a little bit of a nerfing. But I'll have to be honest, I play a lot as medic myself if I'm not up in a plane. And I do find that the medic weapons are just slightly underrated relative to other classes. Whether that's something that we're going to see changed post-patch December 7th, I'm not too sure. We'll see, though. But yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see what they do December 4th and where the game goes based on, obviously, everybody's feedback.
If I can just jump in, if you mean, sorry, because he's just said about tactics. My feeling is that because the medic only has SMGs, there's no variants for the medics at the moment. We don't know if they will do, because they took the guard away from the medic and gave it to assault. Maybe
I do believe they did.
Yeah, and my honest feeling is we are going to see the assault class again go back to being the meta in that regard, because if they increase the TTK, which is a possibility, because the TTK is actually not the problem here. The TTD is the problem, which is time to die, for those who don't know. So because of that, there is a problem. People are complaining, say, "Oh, I'm getting one shot killed or whatever from a Sten or something." You go, well, that's TTD, and you can't react, and you get one frame killed and all this sort of stuff. So I think, in all honesty, what we're going to find the meta is that the meta goes back to assault class, because they're the best AR weapons within Battlefield franchise traditionally. Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, now Battlefield 5. Assault weapons have been generally the best across the board in terms of mid-range to long-range to punch power, and I think the meta will go assault for certain, and I think it will be a question of then the tactics will be led by what people have got their assault setups. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I think it's going to be about enabling the theme of the whole squad. The objective of the whole squad is pretty much going to be to enable those assaults to get round. And if you focus yourself and your entire squad around the sort of basis of keeping your assault alive, keeping your assault full of ammo, keeping him full of meds, and providing an anchoring point for him to spawn on, then that is a pretty good way of running a squad. It gives you a central point objective. Everyone knows who they're defending, where their defense is from, and if the squad can form itself around that central defense point of the assault, based on his location, that is something that's going to enable that squad to push forward quite effectively. But we do have some clips here that I just need to run past you, I think, because I'd be really interested to hear your opinion on now this is something a little bit different. This is clips from the Phoenix Elite Aerial League's events that have been hosted. They've had a number of them, as we mentioned previously. And these are going to be some of our competitive pilots, some of the best pilots in Battlefield, I have to say, having shoutcasted many of their matches. These guys really are on point, and I can't wait to see this expanded out to PC and PS4 as well, which hopefully is something that we'll be able to see in the future. But I'm going to start off with this clip, and this is a pilot called Dippopotamus going up against another pilot called Mendoz. We've got some pretty interesting names out here, so but I'm just going to throw this up. Here you go, guys, check it out. He's getting closer to the ground, and I think Aztec is really struggling to get out of this one. Some absolutely epic dogfighting. He's gone for the stall, and that's just about giving him a little bit of time to get out, but Dippopotamus has managed to counter that stall by stalling himself, giving him the room, and he's managed to kill there. And that was an absolutely outstanding bit of dogfighting there by Dippopotamus. Going for it.
This is a 2-1, 2-1. Yeah, so that was. He just got behind him. He had nothing. He couldn't do anything. Once you stalled out, you've lost all your momentum. And he obviously thought he was a bit closer, and he wasn't vertical enough to pull that off. But that was Got when he had the slice for the kill.
You could almost see him going for that stall at one stage, and then I think he almost has a change of heart as soon as he starts taking fire. And then, I think at that stage, especially with the way that Dip and his colleague were just trailing them, these guys were just giving them very little manoeuvring ability there, and let's face it, once you've got one plane is hard enough to get off your 6 o'clock, but 2 planes, it's more or less impossible. You've always got someone who can go left and someone who can go right. But yeah, Dip is one of our pilots. He's a very good pilot, it has to be said, and gets some fantastic kills. Definitely gets into the latter rounds of the tournament. And Mendoz as well, also quite a good pilot. I can't remember who actually ended up taking that specific match, but I do remember it being quite a good match, and with quite a lot occurring in it. The next one we've got, alright, check out the name, Hilary Swanks versus Baggins.
Savage pilot.
Alright, so we're going to throw off Hilary Swanks, and Hilary Swanks is going to be going up against Baggins here. And from what I remember, this was one
is
heck
back up.
of a,
And is he going to be able to manage to get this hit there? He risks getting a shot on his friendly bomber there, but he also manages to get a hit whilst he's on the turn there. That was absolutely epic flying and shooting by Hilary Swanks.
So that was just a short clip there, but yeah, that was Hilary Swanks coming in round again on the 6 o'clock of Baggins. For some reason we had a bomber up there. Not too sure why there was a bomber. I think that was quite late on in the rounds and the team had already won, or I'm not too sure. They were confident.
It looked like the well, let's say victim had clipped the bomber there just before the engagement. He clipped. I think he or she clipped it. It looked like, and once you've hit something, obviously you've taken out a good chunk of health anyway. But yeah, deadly at the end there. No quarter given, and taken out with aplomb.
Yeah, Swank is not known for missing either. That is one hell of an accurate pilot right there, as we just saw. That's something you'll see from him every single time he gets in the air. It's just
Was that a tank hunter setup?
Let's check it again.
Yeah.
Let's check it again.
Urquhart is
Let's
back up.
double-check.
And is he going to be able to manage to get this
37mm
hit
nose
there?
cannon
He risks
and,
getting a
50
shot on his
bombs.
friendly bomber there, but he also manages to get a hit whilst he's on the turn there. That was...
Yeah, there it is, attack plane.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
incredible.
So he clips well, no, he does clip it, and yeah, just bang. That's a hell of a shot as well, because that's on a rotation. So he's whoever the pilot is, he's just shot down and he's clipped the bomber, which throws your parabolics off anyway. So you're kind of yeah, that's a.
No, absolutely. All right, let's check out. We've got Mordred coming up, going up again. Oh no, sorry, no, wrong clip. Oh, there we go. There it is.
Just all over his 6. Urologist is going to stall though, and it's going to work out. Fungus is going to go right by him, and that's going to line Dum Dum up for a perfect shot on him. Very impressive maneuvers coming in from the LRRP boys. They're just making it look pretty, like a little air ballet they've got going on with their tandem combo on Lillian, and then that beautiful stall coming in from the Urologist to line up Dum Dum for a perfect shot. Lillian now, coming in and...
Yeah, he's broken contact. I'm not sure what he's doing, to be honest, because he's lost him. Yeah, he gave him the edge.
Yeah, that's it. And that was, of course, Mr. Dum Dum himself there, providing us with one of his clips. Again,
what was going on there, Dum Dum? Talk us through that.
So Urologist and I actually had been struggling a little bit. We didn't. That was our first time, I think, flying together, and we knew both of us had taken a little bit of damage in that situation right there. But we managed to get down their second pilot, take down one of the pilots, and I did lose. Can't remember who it was that we were fighting with there. I lost him for a second, but Urologist and I were communicating pretty heavy on it, so we figured we'd go for the split. Try and get him to chase me a little bit, use me for bait, so Urologist could line up the shot and take him out before the other pilot came back in. And I think it worked, if I remember correctly. But that was a interesting little fight for us. That was our first and only time flying in the flight path to Battlefield 5, and it was an experience. Like, no joke, It was something else.
yeah, no, you guys absolutely beast moded it as well, which I'd expect nothing less from Long Range Recon Patrol, who, of course, are one of the many active teams involved with the Hardcore League and the Phoenix Elite Aerial League. We've got a few LRP in the chat this evening as well. I do notice, I think Attila was in there earlier dropping the sub. We've got Mr. Boyer, and for those of you who don't know, Boyer is a member of Hardcore League staff, and he's been gaming for a number of years now. Boyer is the patriarch of Battlefield on Xbox, coming in at 57 years of age. So we'd just like to welcome him to the chat and say hello. Hope everything's going all right. Boyer's not been very well recently, struggling with a bad back and a number of other things. But we love Boyer, and he is the people's princess. We've got Rias Peters coming in there. Hey, HCL friends. What is going on, my dude? Welcome to the stream. We've got Fiend there as well. Still no love for Fiend. No one loves you, Fiend. I'm sorry, dude. Fiend also member of staff. Go on, my dude.
I just want to say something for my Lerpid Derps and for everyone in the league. You know, Dum Dum loves you guys. And boy, I tell you what, I got to drop that caca because I know Attila likes it. So I'm super happy to see you guys in there. Nothing but love for you. Boo, you get to feeling better, man. And that's it. I just wanted to drop that for the community. I love these people.
Yeah, I don't think it's too much of an issue with old Boyer. I think he's in his autumn years at the end of the day. Poor guy, you know, he's doing all right though. He still gets on the battlefield and smashes it with us young guns. Alright, we got DX Mimsy dropping in there as well. Guys, if you're not familiar with DX Mimsy is one of our graphic designers here at the Hardcore League, and has done a lot of the graphics recently for some of the events, and is going to be doing a lot of the graphics coming up, looking to the future. Making us stand out there, guys, on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, you name it. We've got those graphics locked down. And I noticed as well, we've got Impulse Streams who do a lot of our video and a lot of our adverts as well. Yeah, guys, what an absolutely fantastic cast we've had this evening. All right, guys, and that pretty much wraps things up. I'm going to let everybody go because I know you all have turkeys to go and eat, turkey sandwiches, turkey curry to go and make from yesterday's Thanksgiving. But it has been an absolutely fantastic evening here of Battlefield podcasting, and if you've enjoyed yourself, guys, don't forget to hit that follow, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe. Let your friends know, especially if they are involved as a community, that there is a Battlefield esports arena. This is your opportunity, your platform to showcase your skills. You are our passion, guys, and what we're developing here is something, it's made by the community for the community. We've got a lot of big news coming up in the coming weeks and months surrounding esports Battlefield. So hopefully we'll be getting Dead and It's Mason here in at some stage. In the meantime, guys, don't forget to check out all those offline, non-live interviews that we do with all our team leaders and all the staff members, courtesy of the real Dum Dum. Absolutely lovely gentleman. I tell you what.
Well, thank you, sir. And if I may, I just want to throw this out there, a couple of things for Sergeant Danger Cow. One, thanks so much for doing this with us, man. It was an absolute pleasure to talk with you. It was just really, really cool. I love the opportunity to get to know people, especially guys like you. That was a lot of fun. And also, I hope maybe one day we can see you come out and compete, maybe even just once. I think that might be pretty, I think people might like to take a look at that. And guys, if you're watching this, you're listening, you need to go check his YouTube channel out. He's got some really good stuff on there. So, yeah, thanks again for showing up, man. That was just way cool. And I look forward to seeing you on the battlefield, my dude.
Oh, man, it's been an absolute blast. And thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been great fun talking with you guys and actually listening to what other like-minded people have with regard to the way things should be panning out. But it's been great fun. So thank you so much for having me.
And of course, guys, don't go anywhere because we're not going to be shutting the channel down just yet. We're going to be firing you over to the Battlefield stream. So don't forget to tell them that the Hardcore League sent you, and we send a love. In the meantime, thank you so much for you guys turning up and watching us. As I say, 2 weeks today. We've got Shadux penciled in. Shadux is an EA game changer and DICE friend. He's very, very, very knowledgeable about weapons, and this is gonna be one that you team leaders are gonna really want to log into and check out, because there's going to be a lot of information on how you guys are going to need to structure your teams, how you can consider different weapons, and he's going to really just break things down for us. In the meantime, guys, as I say, don't go anywhere. Join the raid, and thank you very much for stopping on by. My name's KLW Hitman Pike. Joining me tonight was my colleague and assistant producer, the real Dum Dum. And thank you very much, as Dum Dum just mentioned, to Sergeant Danger Cow for popping in and giving us his time. In the meantime, guys, I'm going to leave you with the credits. But enjoy.